Been a long deer season. Missed I don't know, at least a 5 or a 6 point whitetail in you know, the northern part of Washington, and I don't know, when you miss animals, it wears on you, and I feel like I don't really know what to say about that. When you miss animals like that, you might only get one opportunity in a season. This isn't the biggest blacktail in the woods, but today is New Year's 2026.
No, it's 25 right now.
25.
Today's New Year's Eve.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say New Year's?
Yep.
Okay, going into yeah, so New Year's Eve. And shot this buck last night, 50 feet up, at 50 yards, and feeling pretty good about it right now because it's been a long year. You know, look at that. It's just a little 2 point, but I'll tell you what, I probably climbed 100 trees with my one sticking setup, and coming into here last night, I was feeling like not really wanting to climb up that tree at all. To be honest with you, my legs were wiped out. You know, I don't know how many days, at least 25. I mean, what's the season open, from the 25th to the 31st, right? And so that's a lot of days. I mean, I had a couple of days there because I got sick, and I missed the best part of blacktail hunting because my son got me sick. But yeah, just a lot of hard work. And I actually thought that, you know, I'd have taken a doe, I'd have taken a young animal, anything, because I love the meat. And you know, this guy come walking in last night and all that happened, and I guess the lesson is never give up, because I felt like it. And I even told Brian here today is the last day, and I said, I'm sleeping in tomorrow, we'll go out for an evening hunt, because that's how tired I was. I was like, man, I don't even know if I want to get out of bed tomorrow. But yeah, time to carve them up. Got some great victuals here, and we left them overnight. Came back in this morning, and can you shine it on that ribbon? I stopped right there last night, tied a ribbon on that alder tree, and he was laying, what is that, 20 yards?
Yeah.
He was laying 20 yards from where I stopped last night, tracking blood, because a lot of times it's better to not, you know, if you're not too confident on the shot, to just go ahead and don't push an animal. I'm a big believer in that. That's been talked about for I don't know how many years. You know, ever since I was a kid, you know, if you're not confident on the shot, let them go lay down and die in peace. And they deserve that. Otherwise, you're just going to keep bumping them and bumping them and bumping them, and you'll lose the animal. So anyway, that's the gist of 2025. You know, I couldn't be more happier. I mean, it's not a giant 4x4 or a nice big 3x3 blacktail, but I'm tickled to have this guy. Could have went the other direction and could be eating tag soup, and tag soup don't taste very good. I've eaten tag soup quite a few years.
Don't rub it in.
I'm just saying, a lot of times I'm trying to kill big bucks, and I'll wait till the last couple of days and then regret not shooting a doe, because there's plenty of deer out here running around. We really should be, in Washington State, we really should be allowed to kill 2 blacktail deer. This country is just thicker than shit. And, I mean, the camera's not doing justice, but even me walking out of here last night, the ferns are literally over your head. Oh, you're going the wrong way, dude. I mean, like, we're kind of in a more open area right here where you pass, but I mean, it's the ferns. I mean, how tall are you, dude? 6'1". And this fern right here is up to your shoulders. So when you get into the thicker parts of it, and you think, oh, I'll just blaze through here, when you start blazing through there, you realize how these things can hide, because they can get into this stuff, and you'll never see them. You might hear them, but you might not get a shot. And so literally your setups need to be, you need to look at runs and deer trails, and I like to look at pinch points. So when I'm out scouting and I look at ridges and nice little, they don't have to be big ridges either, just little pinch points where they like to funnel through, and then also getting your wind up off of the the topography and ridge lines and stuff like that, so that when they're coming in, they, all your scent is just blowing right over the top of everything. That's my favorite setup. I feel like a killer when I do that stuff. When I get up in my tree, even last night I was up 50 feet. My bow rope and my saddle rope is 50 feet long. And so when I get up there 50 feet, and a lot of people think 50 feet's crazy probably, but I feel like it gives me a better opportunity at every animal in the woods. And that's the opportunity that I want, because I don't even care if I kill them most of the time. I just like action. And action to me is all the deer, all the critters, deer, bear, coyotes, cougars. Me and my son were driving out 2 nights ago, and I don't know, it was probably, well, I don't know if it was, yeah, I don't know, yeah, it might have been about 200-pounder come flying across the road right in front of us.
Cougar.
Big old cougar.
Yeah.
And they're yeah, those things are like sly as foxes, man. Those things, you wouldn't know if one of those things were in here sneaking up on you or not. All these years of sneaking through these woods, I only shot one, and now the restrictions on cougars, and I believe now Colorado's crazy. I don't know what the rules are in Colorado, but Washington State, you got to call in and check to see if you can go kill a cougar. What the hell are we talking about here? To call in the game department to find out if you can kill a cougar, which they couldn't find a cougar if they had to. They, they live in these woods, and they're so thick that there's no shortage of any of these animals out here. So, I'm getting kind of fired up over that topic, but I got to thin a lot of these things out, or they're just gonna be overpopulated. And I'm no wildlife biologist, but it ain't good to have an overabundance and overpopulation of them, I don't believe. I think there's more room to be more liberal. Is that the right word?
With taking the animals, yeah.
Well, taking more.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so, let's expand these regs and allow us to fill our freezers. I don't understand that. If a guy wants to go out and work and put in the time to fill his freezer, and he doesn't want to eat meat from the meat market, which I don't know. I eat it because I have to. If I'm craving a steak, or it's nice to mix things up and eat some chicken thighs once in a while. But anyway,
Overseasoned by your son.
Oh, Bo dumps half a can of frickin' I don't care what he puts on his food. He's just dumping everything on it. He tells me I under-season food. I say, well, you're eating seasoning. You don't need to do that. Any hoot nanny. Yeah, this is a good way to start out 26. because I could have been coming home from the area that I hunt's right next to Canada, and I could have been coming home with a giant whitetail buck, which would have been my biggest whitetail buck ever. And those situations like that, when those happen and you miss, the situation with that was my son. Well, I ranged the buck at 54 yards, and my first two ranges were 36 yards. I knew that wasn't right, and then my son seen me struggling. He was standing next to me, and I got 54 and 55. I always like to get two in a row. I got 36, 36, 54, and 55. And then I was like, okay, well, it's not the 36 one. It's got to be 54, 55. Well, 1 yard isn't going to make a difference on whether, because I shoot an 80-pound bow. That thing is humming. And, 1 yard ain't going to make a difference. And then Bo tells me that he's got 62. Well, Bo's rangefinder is not set up for the drop, and my rangefinder is set up. It calculates degrees. Now, don't ask me why I haven't calculated my son's. Like in a flat line, it probably was. He was getting 62. His was right, but mine accounts for the drop. Not that there was that much drop. Well, maybe there was. Because it was pretty, it wasn't very little slope. But anyway, the moral of the story was the arrow went right over that big old buck's back. And then I ended up, my heart dropped because it was in about 8 inches of snow. And it was so quiet. And I didn't hear nothing. No hit, no nothing. And you can be wrong with just speculating that, because you think you hear something that means you hit it or you missed it. You don't know. A lot of weird things happen with bow hunting. So the gist of it is we went down there and the arrow went right over the buck's back. I shot the buck at 60, and it went right over his spine and in that snow. And in the snow there was a little hole where my fletchings kind of poofed it out, and I dug in there and found the arrow. And I told my son, I said, I started getting upset because I don't ever listen to anybody else's range. Your range is your range. You sight your bow in to with your rangefinder to your bow. So listening to my son was a dumb idea anyway, but I thought that my range was wrong. So I had my son stand in where the buck was bedded in the snow, and went back to where I shot, and 54 yards on the money is where my son was standing. And when he came back up, we had a nice little chat about, don't ever give me a range again for the rest of your life. And I was not happy with my son even opening his mouth. He told me, Dad, I was just trying to help. And
he was.
Well, I had to
He wasn't trying to give you a bad range.
I had to give him a pass.
Yeah.
And I said, we're not going to fight about this the rest of the trip, but this is going to haunt me for a long time, because misses stick in my head. And I've shot a lot of deer. My wall's full of deer, mostly mule deers. Well, I've killed probably over 25 blacktails, but a lot of those growing up were does, teaching myself how to track, and had to get over myself and think that I was going to be my dad, because I'm never going to be my dad. I'm going to be John Parman, and that's just fine. My dad's never killed an animal with his bow, and we're all individuals, and we got to find our own path. If I didn't do that when I was younger, I wouldn't be the guy that I am today. And so, Yeah, I could elaborate on that, but I'm getting fucking worked up over the deal. But anyway, the misses stick with me more than the ones that I get. I don't know what it is about that. And I think that makes you better if you want to know the truth. I think that those eat at you and they make you a better hunter. Nobody wants to miss or wound an animal. If you do and you're that type of person, you shouldn't bow hunt, because you should be constantly striving to be a better hunter. This is definitely not the biggest buck I've ever killed in my life, that's for sure, but it is the last day of bow season in Washington State, and I'm tickled to have some back straps and some burger. So pretty cool. I mean, the not giving up and the amount of trees that I've climbed. A lot of times when I climb the trees, all the things that I see out here in Mother Nature make up for not seeing anything that night. Like last night, a raven landed in the top of the tree, the woodpeckers. You know, I could go on and on about all that stuff. It's not always about a kill, you know, it definitely isn't, because I walk out of the woods way more often unsuccessful than I am successful. And this is an example of that. You know, I mean, I could have not shot anything this year and I would be disappointed at my at working as hard as I did and not having any meat in the freezer, because that's literally what it's all about. Like all this stuff that's going on Instagram about showing an animal on Instagram, you know, giant bucks and all this and that. Well, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about that, because, you know, people should be proud of their accomplishments, and who cares whether they showed that they shot an animal with a bow or any weapon. So anyway, we're gonna get to skinning. I don't know, anytime I bring up my old man, dude, it tears me up for some reason. You know, that guy, all the years of hunting and stuff, it feels like, you know, I've never heard him say he's proud, but I don't know why I'm getting so damn emotional over it. Frickin' 2-point blacktail buck.
You're sensitive, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm a sensitive man. Hey, tell you what though.
Sensitive men kill animals and eat them.
I'm a thinker. And by the way, if you're a guy that gets cheap, right? These things are $10. If you're a guy like Brian Wright here, today on the way in here,
I just forgot to swap them out. I forgot to swap them out.
Let's talk about the 5-step rule real quick.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so the 5-step rule. My new thing with bow hunting and stalking is the 5-step rule is take 5 steps.
Listen and look.
This is important. So the 5-step rule. If I could have did this when I was 30 and younger, for all you young guys that are bow hunters, right? If I could have done this when I was younger, I would have killed a lot of animals. Why is the 5-step rule important? The 5-step rule is important because it's just all about patience. 5 steps. This is what I tell my son. I says, if you can go 5 steps. So I watched him hunt the other day, and the guy's a racehorse, an absolute racehorse in the woods. If you can, and I wrote him a letter before we came out yesterday, and it was thoughtful. And it was a nice paragraph about the 5-foot rule. So the 5-foot rule, Bo, is take 5 feet, go walk, challenge yourself to take 5 steps. You'd be amazed at how the topography changes when you take 5 steps, and all of a sudden you see something that looks like an ear, looks like a horn, looks like the color of something that your game that you're chasing. And so therefore, 5 steps, it gives you a reason to pull your glass out. If you're stalking and you're not pulling your glass out, you ain't hunting. And when I was younger, I wish somebody would have talked to me about this. I'm just being dead honest. If you can take 5 steps, if you're a young kid and you listen to this, and you can take 5 steps, and is it not hard?
Yeah, you got to slow down, pay attention.
And what does it make you do?
Look and listen.
That's right. It makes you listen to everything around you. You'd be amazed at what's going on around you. Because 5 steps, stop, listen, pause. You may sit there for 4 minutes, 5 minutes. You hear something, you don't hear something, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. If you're trying to get somewhere, get there. But when you get into the, you know when things are looking good and things are feeling good. 5-step rule it. 5 steps, slow down, look, listen, glass. My son, I watched him and I paid attention to what he was doing. Those binoculars in a half of a day never came out of his bino harness. Why are you carrying binos if you ain't using them? You want to know why? Because he's a thoroughbred. He's a racehorse. I mean, the kid's got legs on him. I mean, I understand all that. You're young and you're strong, but that's not how you hunt.
And he's confident. He's killed a lot of animals.
He is confident. He is confident. But the racehorse program is not. Right. It's not. You know what? You ain't gonna. It took me 50 years. Well, 40 years to. No, more than that. 42 years to. Because I killed my first deer when I was 13 years old, with a bow, and I did not have it in me then. And I killed that deer with Bo's mentality, the racehorse. Lucky enough the deer stood there long enough for me to miss over his back. And the second arrow, I run around this island, and I was in racehorse mode. I turned back around, I thought the deer was gone. Turned back around, and it was standing there looking at me like this. And I piped him right through here and right through. But 5-step rule is very important. 5 steps, check the wind. 5 steps, check the wind. 5 steps, listen. I left that part out. 5 steps, listen. You'd be amazed at how long you stay there after 5 steps, because you're now hunting and you're now listening to your surroundings. Hit it. You don't have to hit it that hard. Just, what's that telling you right there? Which way you're not going. And believe you me, they are smelling you, and they will walk off, and you won't even know there was a deer there. So if you're on top of it at all times, and you're constantly popping, and you're knowing that you ain't going, or you're hunting, I look at it as in it's a pie chart, right? Okay, well, if you're a money man, right, and you got 30% right here, right? 30% of your scent cone is, in hunting terms, is being taken away from you, right? So, what's that, 70%, right?
Yep.
So 70%
is open.
Yep. If you're not doing that, and you're not checking the wind at all times, you're out bow hiking, and you could be killing. And so for $10 you get 2 of these in a pack. Am I selling you something? Yeah, I am. I'm selling you the best part of hunting. I'm teaching you, and trust me, if it's on your bow, you're more than likely to be pumping on this thing all the time than you are having to pull it out of the bino harness or any other gadgety stuff that's out there. Because this is the best thing going, is you can just barely pop it, and it's telling you at all times. And if you're a guy like Brian, and you get down to the last 16th in your bottle, it's going to make a little noise. Guess what that's telling you? Time to put another NILCH'i on your bow, Brian. Right?
Touche.
And was it dead silent this morning?
It was.
It was foggy, and you could hear a mouse fart.
It's still real foggy. It came in even more.
It is. It's fogging in here. What a beautiful day to skin a buck. But I'll tell you what. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap on the most important part of bow hunting, which is paying attention to the wind at all times. And I ain't just preaching to be preaching. I've been doing this since I was 13 years old, probably younger. I mean, I started packing around a longbow when I was about 8 years old. And you know, my favorite passion is recurves, and you know, I'm gonna give a shout out right now, and I'm probably gonna do it more in my videos, to Three Rivers Archery, because they carry NILCH'is, and Johnny from Three Rivers is a cool dude. I'm gonna be honest with you. You think you look at Three Rivers, Cabela's, and all these big companies. Well, you look at Johnny from Three Rivers, or Sage from Sage Fly Rods. Sage Fly Rods is in my backyard. Are they known all over the world? Yes, they are. Their warehouse where they build all their fly rods is not very big. Their whole thing is quality. And you know, Johnny from Three Rivers, I met him at the ATA show, and just a down to earth. You know, you think, you know, big company, right? This guy won't talk to me, right? Who's going to talk to little old John Parman from Washington State? Guess what? Gave me the time of day. He's that type of dude. And really, really cool guy. So all your longbow and all your traditional equipment, you know, Three Rivers has it all. And I buy my stuff from Three Rivers. You know, support, but I mean, they do have the best stuff. I mean, they've got anything and everything that you need. And they do have some NILCH'is as well. And you can get these on my website, nilchi.com. And, you know, we're coming out this year with some pretty cool stuff. I'm not going to get into that right now because I'm excited to talk about that down the road. But to go along with the elk calling stuff that I have, in my new bugle tube, which I put out last year, and all you guys and all you bow shops that picked up my new bugle tube, man, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. A lot of you archery stores, the small archery stores that everybody goes to. I just lost Archery World this year. They were, I mean, they had 5 big stores and 4 big stores in Washington State, and I think that they are old enough they just wanted to retire and be done. But that was a bad day for me, because I was so proud that I was in Archery World, that you know, those are some really good people. And when you meet good people, and you know, you look at big names, right? You think big names, well, everybody's people. We're just people. So when you meet people and you think they're larger than life, really they're just people. And that's how you build relationships. And relationships are important, especially in the archery industry, because the archery industry, you know, it's a niche, small niche group of people. So, yeah, support your local and your small archery shops. That's important. Those people, they're not getting rich; they're making a living. So support your local shop. And that's really important to me. A lot of these, this year was the best year I've ever had with NILCH'i. You know, all the small archery shops that are carrying NILCH'i products, it means a heck of a lot to a small town kid.